Hi everybody. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the people who commented on my previous video. It was really quite interesting to read all your theories and your comments. So thanks for that. I've enjoyed reading you guys. My plan originally was to wait until I rewatch part 16 before I make this video, but then I couldn't contain myself, so I thought I'll just give you some info now, and then I'll do another video I'll put them two together. It's the only kind of editing I'm able to do. So maybe I'll contradict myself, but who cares? It's part of the fun. So first of all, Judy. My theory now is that Judy is the American woman, the lady that we've seen in space, who tells Cooper something like, "Hurry, my mother is coming." The fact that there has been songs called American Woman, to me that's a clue. And it feels like, I don't know, maybe they have a troubled mother-daughter relationship and she's being a bit rebellious, like it happens in any normal household. But it seems like it's possibly also happening out in space somewhere. So yeah, I'm convinced of that, but we'll see, maybe I'll change my mind. Also about Diane, I am convinced, although troubled and confused, but I am still convinced that Nado is what's become of Diane. I'm not sure why she looks the way she does, because at first when I saw Nado, I thought maybe with her eyes, I thought maybe she's a victim of some nuclear incident. Maybe she's some type of Hiroshima victim, because she does look Asian, although we can't really see her face, but so that's confusing. But when I look at the scene where Diane goes to tell the FBI about that night with Bad Cooper, I feel like it's exactly at the same time as Nado is appearing from that vortex in Twin Peaks in the woods with Andy. So I feel like when we start hearing "I'm in the sheriff's station," I don't know, that doesn't even make sense. I'm contradicting myself already. Shoot. Oh well, I guess I'll go back to that one. But I still, no man, it makes no sense. Okay, so then I don't know what's happening. But there was some very interesting comments from some of you guys. So Stephen Knapp mentioned that Nado, the anagram for Nado would be Zero Diane with the E missing. So that's quite interesting. And I read somewhere that Nado, a translation for Nado was non-existent. So I feel like there is something there. And then this other commentator, really very something, suggested that maybe the E in Janie E has got something to do with that letter that's missing from the anagram. And the fact that Janie E is Diane's half-sister is still intriguing to me. Like, I'm not sure if we'll have more details on how and why things have happened the way that they have with Dougie when he started existing. Because I feel like Janie is completely innocent, and I think also that Cooper, good Cooper, will stay with them. I think he was sincere with when he promised them that he will get back in through that red door. However, I have a hard time imagining Cooper living in Rancho Rosa. I mean, maybe it's just a personal preference, but for me, it's one of the most depressing places ever. It's pretty awful. But now he's got friends there at the casino, so I don't know. So I have a couple of theories about what will happen when this one bad Cooper is gone. Since the FBI in Las Vegas is absolutely useless, maybe they would need Cooper to say, I am the FBI, and take care of things and just give back a good name for the FBI in Vegas. On the other hand, I also imagine him going to live in Twin Peaks. Although, I mean, with Janie E and Sunny, it seems like they would be strangers there. But I kept thinking about the gym set, the spectacular gym set that Sunny has, and I thought to myself, you know, the best gym set a kid can have is actually a forest, some kind of a Jack Rabbit's palace or something, without all the weird stuff, with adult supervision. So also, my last theory before I rewatch and for me to realize that everything I'm saying right now is completely false. Audrey, I had the feeling that she was definitely in a psych ward when we saw her at the end of part 16, and you could see a lot of lightnings. So I'm thinking perhaps when she travels by mind to the Roadhouse, maybe she's having shock therapy. So, I mean, there's been such a huge focus on electricity in Twin Peaks. If you're putting electricity directly inside your brain circuits, I mean, it's very likely that something otherworldly will happen in Twin Peaks. So that's where my mind is at right now. So there you go. I'll talk to you very soon. Bye. Hi again. So I've rewatched part 16, and there's a few things I'd like to address. Although I'd like to make something clear, the more I'm trying to look for answers, the more lost I become, and I think it's a trap if you want to like break the code and figure out the mystery. I think the craftsmanship is so powerful that if you focus on one thing, you miss a bunch of others which are subtle. That's my feeling right now. So let's just look at this as a bunch of new questions more than any type of answer. Although I do have a bunch of suspicions, I must say. I forgot to tell you in my previous, well, last night when I did the first part, Diane's dress. I don't think it's a coincidence that she's wearing that Chinese-inspired fashion. Oh, and I think about it, it's a little bit like turquoise as well, isn't it? So yeah, I got to think about her dress, and again, it brings me back to Nato, who, although we can't really see her face, gives me the feeling that she's Asian. So unless I'm completely fooled, I think Nato is what's become of Diane. Otherwise, where else would she be in this sheriff station? There's not many options. Either she's Zombie with his gooey bleeding face. That doesn't seem like Diane, but I mean, who knows? We've been surprised before. And otherwise, either she's one of the chocolate bunnies Or she, and I'm not even kidding completely about this one, but maybe she's actually trapped on the phone lines. Um, Maybe this is how the real Diane would be aware of the communications, like the fact that she's given the coordinates to Bad Cooper. I don't know. It's just a theory. It's a silly theory, obviously, but not completely. And I'm wondering, could it be Diane flashing on line number one? Who knows? Well, I enjoy the idea, so it's gonna be my backup plan in case it doesn't work out with Nado. Oh yeah, and mainly I was also noticing the two dragons she has facing one another. And at first, well, and there's some gold. At first, I thought it might be just one of the two dragons that has gold, but I think it's a light effect. So gold dragons, interesting. So I did a couple of researches, and it's actually some relevant symbol in alchemy. Um, I mean, I invite you guys to go and read it. It's going to be clearer than if I'm the one telling you about it. But there's like this union theory. Basically, it's made of a matter that's very common and not very fancy or extraordinary. And that matter would also be dreams, according to what I'm reading right now, which is highly confusing. And it's also a symbol for metamorphosis. And I read, that's not even the right link. Here we are. So this is French, I'll just translate, but it says that if it can be a dangerous symbol because if it goes too much into your conscious, it will make you mad, basically. And also at some point it says that it will devour you. And then I can't help but think about Diane's own face eating its own face in the Red Room. So, I mean, as always, it's very vague. And it's got something about like the terrible mother. But, you know, it's like psychoanalysis, basically. So that's highly vague. But it just proves to me that Diane, or Tulpa Diane, is quite central to, she adds another layer of mysticism, I find. And again, with the whole alchemy, gold shit digging shovel, there's something there, I feel. So that's it. You guys can look it up if you want to, but that's my news about Diane. And also I noticed that when Richard is electrocuted, there's actually a shooting star in the back that crosses the sky. I don't think that's a coincidence. Also, I suspect that it's at the same time that Dougie stuck his fork in the electrical outlet. So it should have been Bad Cooper, but obviously he just got rid of the kid. But I'm still wondering where Richard might be, because he obviously seems dead, but the fact that he disappeared like that, maybe he's been transported somewhere and he will reincarnate into the Doc in Back to the Future. Oh no, he would have to like have finished his high school. But he did. He's a high school graduate. So who knows? Also, I did notice that Hutch asked Chantal, did you hear this bird this morning? And I think there are a lot of birds in every episode, but in that one I noticed it as well. We didn't see many, but we could hear them that reference as well. And we saw a shadow of a huge bird flying over Dougie's house as well. So there's something for sure with birds. Also, I just noticed, you know, there's a huge amount of activity showing on the FBI screens and all their machines they have. And that's probably why I think those machines, I just thought about this. I think those machines are actually a metaphor for Cole's brain, because he is so aware of everything. His instincts are so developed. I feel like his brain is beeping the exact same way as those screens that you can see in the motel room. By the way, I'm not really sure why they're standing by there. I mean, they could have gone to Vegas to meet Diane's half-sister, but I'm sure Cole knows what's best. And last but not least, Candy. Remember how she says that, oh yeah, they sure have a heart of gold, and then she was all dreamy and happy to say that? It made me react a little bit, because in my head, she lives a very strange life. Well, her and her soul sisters. She's kind of like a waitress slash slave, well, luxurious slave, an object. I mean, they're not completely respectful with them, but they're not badly treated either. So then I got to think, if Candy didn't have this job, she would probably end up being 119, because I feel like they both have the same level of intellect. But at least she's taken care of, and she's kind of happy. Instead of shooting like heroin or whatever, she's serving finger sandwiches. So maybe she is benefiting from the Mitchens' hearts of gold. And that's it. So who knows? Maybe other thoughts will come to me, probably. And then they will contradict everything else that I've said. But it's fun. Only 4 more days. Is that 4 days? Yeah, basically 4 days to make sure that we're alive to see the finale. And then it's up to this TV schedule to be up to the task. All right. Bye. Hi again. It's me and Bob Ross. I was almost forgetting. I thought about this today. I'm so tired. I get good ideas sometimes, but maybe it's completely silly. I'll let you judge. Everybody right now is wondering on the internet who could be a tulpa, and half of the characters are suspected to be tulpas right now. So I thought to myself, actually, you know what? Twin Peaks itself, both the town and like the work of fiction, in a way they've become tulpas, if I understand what they are, which I'm not sure I do. But I mean, at first it was really David Lynch who, like, it was a thought form and he made it happen in his whole mind, and he had like, he gave it life. And now we've made it like a super tulpa, because half of the planet, or anyway, anybody who's got good taste for nice intrigues and cool fiction, it's existing very much so in their mind. And I mean very much. We all know how Twin Peaks fans are intense. So Twin Peaks is a very powerful thought form right now. So, you know, that was just my little 5 cents on the tulpa theories. That's it now. Bye.